They, yeah, they thought things were on the agenda, I think.
So, we'll have roll call.
Clark, David, Fish, Jorgensen, Cole, Parliament, Mayor Heinitz.
Welcome to everyone. Thank you for attending.
You wait till you ask for public comments before you get.
All right, that's true. So, first on the agenda is the approval of the agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the agenda as stated. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have the minutes from December 16th briefing meeting and the December 20th regular meeting. Any additions or corrections there?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the minutes from the two previous meetings. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The claims are on pages 17 to 19. There are any questions? Right, there are. Move to approve. We have a motion and a second to approve the claims as stated. Hearing no other questions, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consent calendar, plat of track 16A and track 18B in Valley Country Estates Edition. Move to approve. A motion and a second to approve. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now we have the always interesting public comments.
Don't be shy.
Okay, thank you. Public hearing?
None.
Is Raleigh back there?
Yep, he is.
Well, I have a commendation. Mr. Raleigh, if you come forward. Oh, I'm sorry. This comes from the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources in Pierre, and it's addressed to Mr. Raleigh Hokie, Brandon Public Water System. Dear Mr. Hokie, on behalf of DANR, I want to thank you and your staff for their dedication to provide safe drinking water while meeting all of the requirements of the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act for 20 consecutive years. To commemorate this achievement, we had the enclosed plaque made for you. We hope you can find a highly visible place to hang it so that the customers of Brandon's water system will be able to see it and appreciate the work done to protect their health and instill a high level of trust and confidence in the work you do daily. And it's signed by Mark Mayer, Drinking Water Program Director. So, on behalf of the city, Raleigh, and all, we appreciate the work that you've done. 20 years, and we certainly couldn't have the city we have without you, so congratulations. Did you want to give a speech?
No. Now's the time to make a speech.
Yes, let's get a
There
picture.
are very few of them in the state.
We're going to get a picture.
Yeah, take a picture.
They say that they've done it for 20 years.
In a row.
Huh?
We get in there with you.
I don't want to be in
Gonna move that table or you good there?
really tall.
Very good. What's?
Not be in the picture. We're trying not to be in the picture. Tammy, are we looking goofy in the back?
Photoshop us
I
out.
thought you were gonna be more this way.
Us rabbit ears?
Yeah, no, we're trying to like.
Raleigh,
dodge it.
here's the letter. You should keep that. It's a nice award.
Yeah,
Good job, guys.
Very good.
good job.
Public safety, excuse me, I moved my head too fast.
Old business.
Old business, record reading, second reading of ordinance number 653 adopting ICC codes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
This is a long list, and I'm proud of our, planning and zoning for working on this, and I think it's been a lot of work. But We have a motion and a second to approve. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Golf course, anything to report there?
Nothing.
Okay. Parks and Rec, work report on page 24. If there's any questions there. Public safety inspection report on page 25 and 26. Questions there?
So we get to 87.
We missed 100. Melissa just sent me the year-end summary. I'll have that in the packet for the next meeting. But we did 2020, if I remember the numbers right, we did about 19 million in valuation in new construction. In 2021, we did 34 million. And that's using our old valuation numbers.
Yeah.
So, 2022, when we use the new valuation numbers, it's going to be dramatically higher regardless.
So, Christina, you're thinking some of our sales taxes from that?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is.
Sure.
Is part of that from grading permits?
No.
What did we build? Is that all houses?
Yeah, that was.
A lot of it.
I've got the breakdown, but yeah, we had a number of commercial permits.
I think residential is way up.
Residential's
Obviously,
up.
last year was 50, this year's 87, and I think the other one was remodels and such.
Remodels and
were
stuff were
way
up. Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Fences.
Wait till we build the school.
Yeah, the school count as valuation, but doesn't count towards taxes.
Okay, good news there, certainly. Second on is the animal control contract with Sioux Falls Area Humane Society.
Just the two minor changes. I think their rates went up $2 an hour for regular 8 to 6, and then another $2 an hour for after-hour calls.
Motion to approve. Second.
A motion and a second to approve the animal control contract with the Humane Society. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have a number of resolutions and different administrative items here. Resolution 12022, setting salaries and wages, page 34 and 35.
Those are the base wages for all of the employees, boards, et cetera, for 2022, and then as we go through and anniversary dates come up, there'll be adjustments.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the salaries and wages for 2022 for city employees. Any questions or comments? Excuse me. Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. CCOG board appointment. I have asked Brian to take this position. I think they meet 3 or 4 times a year, and I believe it's important for us to have someone at that on the board. Dennis Olson has held this position in the past, and with his resignation, we need a new representative, so.
Move to approve.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the appointment of Brian Reed to the CCOG board to replace Dennis Olson, and let it be known we appreciate Dennis's long-term work on that board. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion of 2022 projects, bid dates, and cost.
Tammy put together a proposed timeline anyway for the 11 or so big projects that we've got going on for 2022 with potential advertising dates and bid dates. Now please be aware they're subject to change a little bit. And then the cost estimates for construction only on the projects. And like we talked about Thursday night, this is just kind of a heads up discussion that we're seeing bids come in substantially higher than cost estimates. So I'm not sure how many bids are coming up in the next week or so, 2 weeks. Not too many. We'll keep track of the bids that are open that we're aware of. But the 2 bids so far are between 10 and 20% over cost estimate. So as we open these bids, we may have some hard discussions take place depending on how, hopefully they all come in low, but just in case, we're prepping you if they come in high.
Yeah, it's very concerning when you see the amount of, I mean, is this 20, 30%?
We've seen an 11 and an 18 over cost estimates. So, usually the rule of thumb is that the engineer's cost estimate wants to be the high bidder. They don't want to be the low bidder on a project. And as you go through the process, you start out with a fairly high contingency, and as you get closer to that bid date, you wheedle that down a little bit. So, usually a contingency of 5% or so when it comes to the final cost estimate. So you're looking at actual bid prices coming in 15 to 22, 23% over what you're hoping to see.
Okay. What do we need to do with that? We need to approve that?
Yep, just approve basically the bid dates.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the the bid dates for the proposed projects. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a quick question. So if we're approving the bid dates, we're kind of chronologically prioritizing what's happening when. I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be worth a conversation to be proactive versus having to have something reactive with the expectation of everything coming in higher and us having to make some cuts. I'd hate to have to make some cuts after we've already done some projects that maybe would have been on the chopping block.
Oh, so you're saying like some of them, oh, sorry.
You're-
So some of them are like January, so you're saying, we might be like, oh yeah, that came out okay, but then some of these for March, which we might want to do, you're just saying, then what if we run short of money? Is that what you're saying, Dana?
Yeah, kind of.
So when I set those bid dates, I did kind of think about that and what projects were probably more a priority for council. Some of them that are in here come out of different funds. So like the water treatment plant, that's pushed back a little bit, but we're also waiting on some ARPA funds. The core area, that one's pretty early, thinking that's more of a higher priority, as well as the retaining wall for the golf course, which those would be different funds too. And then some of the other ones like slurry seal and asphalt patching, that comes out of the street maintenance fund.
And do we go in with Sioux Falls?
For the
To get a
slurry
lower
seal,
bid,
yes, yep.
Which couple are we expecting could cause that heartburn?
The Big Sioux drainage structure repair, that one, and then the core area.
And then the west side.
Yeah, west,
Plastic pipe.
yep. That west side trunk could very well be a $4 million project.
Well, the west side trunk, aren't we hopefully getting funds?
Yeah, we've got our current ARPA allocation of 1.8 million we're gonna use for that project. So yeah, the price increases are coming in petroleum products, resin, plastic pipe. Asphalt, about 10%. So,
So if I understand this right, what we're approving is the bid process, not necessarily approving the project tonight.
no, we wait until after we open the bids.
Right. So I guess at some point you got to at least find out what it's going to, I
Yep.
don't know how else you'd find out what it's going to cost without, I'd hate to take something off before we know.
Yeah, so this is just, these are just the potential bid dates.
Right.
That we're looking at to advertise.
So what's the number 3, the water pressure reducing valves? Is that over there by the golf course?
Yeah.
It is, that's that east side of town, before we can put the water tower in service. We need to put in those pressure reducing valves in all the homes.
I don't want my toilet to blow off the wall on Country Club.
When you're sitting on it, right?
Yeah, right. Ejected right up through the roof or something. So anyway, any other questions or?
When we receive these bids, we get what, 30 days to approve them? Okay.
So at this point, we have a motion and a second to approve the project's bid dates. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries to work on that. Resolution 0222 declaring intent to reimburse expenditures. All of these are intent to reimburse expenditures.
Correct. As we do capital projects, we try to get them planned, and so we expend some money the year before we bid them or sell the bonds, typically on engineering fees. So what we do, or what we've done in the past, we upfront those costs, typically out of either the utility funds or the general fund, and then when we sell the bonds, we reimburse ourselves for the upfront costs to get the projects rolling. You know, that way we can replenish those funds so that, you know, we can continue to do this. If we don't, we'll eat up our fund balances soon enough. And then we won't have the cash to start the projects. So each one of these projects, the water treatment plant, Ironwood Extension, Core Phase 2, and the West Side Sewer are all underway. And we, I would recommend doing them separate. I know it's kind of a pain in the butt, but.
I'll move to do the water, well, we can each take one. I'll do the water treatment.
Okay.
The highest one.
So that's resolution 0222 declaring intent to reimburse expended water treatment plant. We have a motion and a second to approve that. Questions? Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. The next is resolution 0322 Ironwood Extension Project. I have a motion and a second to approve the Ironwood Extension, let me rephrase that, intent to reimburse expenditures. Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 0422 declaring intent to reimburse expenditures, Core Phase 2 project.
Motion to approve. Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any questions, concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carry. Motion carries. Resolution 0522 intent to reimburse expenditures West Side Sewer Project.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The revised intergovernmental contract with South Dakota Public Assurance Alliance.
SDPA provides our insurance coverage, liability for the city. We have a contract with them. They made some tweaks to it. The biggest change is in the member withdrawal. The SDPA is an association of cities and counties that have banded together, I think in the 80s, because we were starting to get outpriced in the insurance market. So they've been our insurance agent or insurance company for a number of years. We're technically self-insured with them. They do a very good job of the coverage and covering any claims that we've had. We don't have any issues with them. Typically, they're very, very good at getting out and making those decisions. So the biggest change is, I think it's Article 9 under the contract, where they changed the way if a member withdraws. And the reason they're doing that is they invested a lot of time and effort in helping communities or members reduce their claims. For instance, they'll come out and they'll do inspections every 3 years, probably pretty soon. They also come out and do revaluations of all of our properties every 4 years. So they invest quite a bit of time and they don't want members looking at, hey, we had a big increase in this year's rate, so we're gonna go out and find different coverage, and then a couple years later, coming back in and said, hey, we really like your rates again, we're gonna come back in. So we're trying to stabilize the membership. I don't think there's a lot of communities or entities that are leaving, but they're trying to discourage it as much as they can. So termination is where that's termination. Withdrawal, if you voluntarily withdraw, before you got your contributions reimbursed over time, they're doing away with that. And then if you try to get back in, requires a supermajority vote of the board to get back in.
There's no concerns with commitments and then not making the, I mean, one of the challenges, I call this, pool coverage?
Yep.
We tried that for a while ourselves and got out of it because of the lack of commitment by others.
Yep. So they're trying to stabilize the membership. Like I said, I don't see a lot of changes. I don't see a lot of entities pulling out.
Okay.
And we have no plans to withdraw.
A motion and a second to approve the intergovernmental contract with Public Assurance Alliance. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Resolution 0622, Sioux Metro Alliance Board appointment.
Sioux Metro Growth Alliance has reorganized, as you know. They were here a couple meetings ago. Now they have an executive board, and then they have a membership advisory board. They're asking for a member representative to be on the board as well as an alternative. They meet monthly at 11:30 throughout their communities. So at this point in time, I'd recommend myself as the board member, and then Christina Smith as the alternate.
I have a question. Is this something that the economic developer would then do?
That's
right?
kind of what my thinking is, that I'm volunteering now.
Yeah.
Hopefully be replaced in the future.
Then would it have Tammy be the alternate? Just because then aren't they supposed to work together with engineering or no?
No,
Okay.
this is just the economic development side of it.
Oh, okay. Just curious.
Makes sense to me.
Move to approve.
A motion and a second to approve the appointment of Brian Reed as the representative with Christina Smith, the alternate. I have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Streets, you have a work report on page 71. Questions there? Item 2 is the South Dakota Department of Transportation 5310 grant agreement for transit system.
Yep, and then you can do, I think the next two is
Together.
one item, yeah.
Okay.
They're both DOT grants.
grant.
One is 5310 grant for $1,900, and then the other is a 5311 ARPA grant for $29,638.
A motion and a second to approve the two DOT grants for the transit system. Questions? Hearing none?
That'll just reduce our cost.
Yep. But you remember, we set up our budget in August, anticipating a larger contribution from the state. So this is basically offsetting the state's reduction in our funding request to them.
Good. We have a motion and a second to approve the grant agreements. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Water and Sewer Resolution 0722 authorizing application to the South Dakota Water and Natural Resources Board for funding for the water treatment plant expansion project.
Yep, this is requesting funding from them to be on the funding list, including the ARPA funds for $24,893,000. Now that's the total estimated cost, including the RO system, which the council will make that decision after we get the bids.
Okay, motion and a second to approve Resolution 0722, application for the South Dakota Water and Natural Board. Any questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Have any new business?
That's it.
No executive
Other
session?
than that wonderful water award we got,
Yes.
did you hear about that, Tom?
Tom, we need,
Okay.
you need to get a picture, or did we, Tammy got a picture?
I was late for kickoff, I apologize.
That's all right. We had. Yep, yep. A motion by Dana to, and a second by, to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Thank you. That has to be a record.
Yeah, since you've been mayor, I think it has
That's
been
a record.
26 minutes.
Been a long
I
time.
think one time we got done at 10, didn't we?
Yeah, that was a meeting I was on for.
Yeah. We didn't.